A player gets sent off in the biggest moment of his career, and within minutes, fans across the country are pulling up footage from 3 weeks earlier to ask one simple question. If that's a red card, why wasn't this one? That's exactly what's happening right now with USA striker Folarin Balogun, and the comparison everyone keeps making is to Lionel Messi. Two different players, two similar-looking challenges, two completely different outcomes. One of them is out of the World Cup for a game. The other one finished his match a hat-trick hero. American fans are furious, and they're demanding answers from FIFA. So what's really happening here? Let's set the scene first. Folarin Balogun has been the breakout story of this World Cup for the United States. He scored twice in the opener against Paraguay. He's been the guy defenses have to account for every single time he touches the ball. And on Wednesday night in Santa Clara, he did it again. He broke the deadlock against Bosnia and Herzegovina right before halftime, his third goal of the tournament, giving the U.S. a 1-0 lead in a round of 32 knockout game they desperately needed to win. Then, in the 64th minute, everything changed. Balogun was competing for the ball with Bosnian center-back Tarek Muharremić, and as he planted his foot to win the ball, his studs caught the back of the defender's ankle. Referee Rafael Klaus of Brazil pointed to the monitor, reviewed it, and came back with a straight red card. No warning, no yellow first. Balogun was gone, and the USA had to play the rest of the match a man down. Here's the part that makes this so complicated. The US still won. Malik Tillman buried a stunning free kick to make it 2-0, and the Americans held on for their first World Cup knockout win since 2002. There were celebrations, there was relief, but there was also this cloud hanging over the result, because Balogun's night ended on a call that a lot of very experienced football people don't agree with. Head coach Mauricio Pochettino didn't hold back after the game. He said flatly that there was never any intention from Balogun to hurt the other player, and that what happened was a completely normal footballing action, two players competing for a 50-50 ball. Weston McKennie backed him up, saying he's seen plenty of similar challenges across this tournament that never even got a second look from the officials. Now, here's where things get interesting, because this isn't the first time this exact type of challenge has come up at this World Cup. Back in the group stage, in Argentina's opening match against Algeria, Lionel Messi was involved in a nearly identical situation. Chasing down a loose ball against Algerian defender Issa Mandi, Messi's studs raked down the back of Mandi's calf. The referee blew for a foul, Algeria got a free kick, and that was it. No card, not even a yellow. Messi went on to score a hat-trick that night as Argentina cruised to a 3-0 win. And ever since, that moment has been sitting in the back of everyone's mind because respected broadcasters called it a red card in real time. ESPN analysts were split, with one saying flatly that it should have been a sending off, and a former top-level referee later admitted on air that Messi caught a huge break by staying on the pitch. So when Balogun went down the same way against Bosnia, it didn't take long for fans to connect the dots. Social media lit up almost instantly, with American supporters pointing out that the challenges looked almost interchangeable. Foot down, studs catching the back of the leg, no clear intent to injure either time. The frustration wasn't really about losing Balogun for one game, it was about the feeling that the same offense got treated in two completely different ways depending on who committed it. If you're new here, this is exactly the kind of story we break down every day of this World Cup, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button now, because these officiating debates are only going to get bigger as we head deeper into the knockout rounds. Let's dig into why this comparison actually matters so much, because it's not just fans being emotional about their own team. Fox Sports analyst and former Premier League referee Mark Clattenburg went on air after the Balogun sending off and said directly that he didn't think the challenge had the speed, force, or malice usually required to meet the red card threshold. His argument was that VAR looked at the outcome, a twisted ankle, rather than the actual nature of the challenge itself. That's a really important distinction in modern officiating. The laws of the game are supposed to separate intent and force from consequence, but critics argue that's not always how it plays out under VAR scrutiny, especially when a slow-motion replay makes even a minor coming together look violent. Clattenburg pointed out that slow motion is meant for facts, like where contact happened, not to judge the intensity of a challenge, and he felt that line got blurred here. Compare that to the Messi situation, where the on-field referee in Kansas City, Szymon Marciniak, made his decision in the moment, and VAR chose not to intervene at all, ruling there wasn't a clear and obvious error to overturn. That decision was controversial enough that Algeria's federation reportedly filed an official complaint with FIFA afterward, arguing Messi should have seen red. FIFA never publicly reversed that call, and the tournament moved on. This matters because it raises the exact question that keeps coming up around VAR at this World Cup: consistency. Balogun's red card was the 12th of this tournament, and every single one of them so far has been a straight red, no player getting a second yellow instead. When you're dealing with that many serious cards in one World Cup, fans are naturally going to start comparing them against each other, and that's exactly what's happening right now. The bigger issue isn't really about picking on Messi either. It's about whether the video review process is actually creating the consistency it was designed to deliver. FIFA introduced expanded VAR specifically to reduce these kinds of arguments, but incidents like this one are doing the opposite. They're fueling the exact debate the technology was supposed to end. Before we go further, if you're enjoying this breakdown, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're covering every controversy this World Cup throws at us, and there's a lot more coming. Let's talk about what this actually means for the people living through it, starting with Balogun himself. He was reportedly devastated in the locker room after the match, and by rule, that red card comes with an automatic one-game suspension. That means the USA's best attacking weapon this tournament will not be available for their round of 16 match against Belgium in Seattle, arguably the biggest game of the Americans' World Cup so far. Think about what that means for Pochettino's game plan. Balogun has been the focal point of almost everything the U.S. has done going forward. 3 goals in 4 matches, constant pressure on opposing defenses. Losing him for a knockout match against a talented Belgium side is a real tactical blow, not just a symbolic one. And it happened over a challenge his own coaching staff doesn't believe deserved a red card at all. For the fans, especially the ones who traveled or who've been building momentum behind this USA run, the frustration is less about any one player and more about trust. When supporters can't predict how a challenge is going to be judged, it changes how they watch the game. Every 50-50 ball becomes a moment of anxiety instead of just competition, and that takes something away from the experience of watching this tournament. There's also the perception angle, which is impossible to ignore. Whether it's fair or not, some fans are asking if a global superstar like Messi gets afforded more benefit of the doubt than a rising American striker would in the same situation. FIFA has never suggested that's the case, and there's no official evidence pointing to favoritism. But perception shapes how millions of people experience this World Cup, and right now, that perception is working against confidence in the officiating. Would this kind of inconsistency affect your excitement watching the rest of the tournament? That's genuinely worth thinking about, because how fans feel about fairness ends up shaping how much they trust everything that happens from here to the final. If you haven't already, now's a great time to subscribe, because we're about to get into how this could actually play out from here and where FIFA might be forced to respond. So what happens from here? In the short term, nothing changes about the result. USA's win over Bosnia stands, Balogun serves his one-match suspension, and the Americans have to figure out how to attack Belgium without their top scorer. That's the reality regardless of how anyone feels about the decision. The bigger question is whether FIFA and the refereeing body address the consistency issue publicly. So far in this tournament, we've seen official complaints filed over card decisions. We've seen broadcast analysts openly disagreeing with VAR outcomes in real time. And now we've got a clear side-by-side comparison that fans are using to argue the standard isn't being applied evenly. That kind of pressure sometimes leads governing bodies to clarify their criteria heading into the final rounds, especially with a small number of high-stakes knockout matches left to officiate.
The best-case scenario here is that FIFA uses moments like this to sharpen its officiating guidance for the remaining matches, giving referees and VAR teams clearer criteria on how to separate accidental contact from serious foul play, especially for these ankle and calf challenges we keep seeing. The worst realistic case is that nothing changes, and we end up having this exact same conversation again before the tournament is over, with a different player and a different team feeling like they got the short end of it. Either way, USA fans have made their voice heard, and Balogun's absence against Belgium is going to be felt on the pitch, not just in the debate around it. Which country do you think benefits most if these calls keep swinging unpredictably like this? Let's wrap this one up. Balogun's red card cost the USA their best attacker for a massive knockout match, and the comparison to Messi's uncarded challenge against Algeria has reopened a conversation about consistency that's been simmering under this tournament for weeks. Pochettino and his players don't believe it was the right call. Respected broadcast analysts are split, and fans on social media aren't letting it go quietly.